Good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to one of Mr. C's personal favorite lessons all year round. All right, and we're going to be covering some discussions, and obviously in the video there's only so much discussion you can have, but you'll get the idea here shortly, right? On real-world examples of marketing in action, a lot of marketing research, how people use marketing, so on and so forth. And you'll see some various models and what have you. And this kind of helps give an additional glimpse into the ideas conceived in our principles of marketing unit. All right. And so, yeah, I will have a quick disclosure. All right. The last video on this session does require an adult mindset. And this is only for my 8th grade students. Okay. This video is only for my 8th grade. So if you're an 8th grader or above, you should be able to handle the content okay. All right. It deals with a lot of humor, but some of that humor is adult oriented, or PG-13, if you will. All right. Or PG, if you will. So yeah, just be careful when you watch it. Be mindful. All right. If you don't think you can handle the content, don't watch the last segment. All right. Pretty simple. Here we go. All right, so the first video we're going to watch is about market research, all right? And this video deals with a item or a product called the Barbecue Dragon, all right? And this information comes straight from the Barbecue Dragon website. And you can see the finalized product here on the screen, right? It says the Barbecue Dragon is the most useful barbecue and fire tool you have ever owned, guaranteed. And what it does is it's kind of like a hair dryer, right? It's like a big fan that you stick on a like a little stand type dealie, right? And it pushes oxygen or air into a fire source. So if you're heating something up for like a barbecue using coals, it's a great source for that. Or if you're starting a fire with wood, right, it allows air to get in there pretty easy. It's just a small compact fan is what it is, right? Kind of reminds me of a hairdryer, all right? Now, reading the description here, we can see that the Barbecue Dragon is a fire starting tool that starts charcoal faster than a chimney. All right, a chimney is one of those cylindrical items that kind of go up, not like a fireplace chimney, but a charcoal chimney. All right, you'll see some people use those if they ever cook with coals and such, right? Without using lighter fluid, it controls the heat of grills and smokers, revives smoldering fires, and heats ceramic cookers to pizza cooking temperatures in just minutes. If you don't know, pizza's cooking requires really high heat, okay, to get that nice crisp char on it. It works by blowing large amounts of low velocity, cool air at fires, providing them with more oxygen so they burn hotter and faster. It's cordless, hands-free, and portable, so you can use it tailgating and camping or at the beach. It works for grills, smokers, fire pits, fireplaces, wood stoves, and more. So what you'll see here is that they are in the development phase, trying to figure out how are we going to market this tool. And sometimes what they use is they use test groups to figure out, okay, what's the use of this? Do people understand it? Where do we need to make the adjustments? All right. And a test group is just that. You give it to a bunch of people and they test it to see if it works, to see if people understand it, to see if they like it, that sort of thing. All right. So let's go ahead and take on the Barbecue Dragon and let's see what we can find out.
The focus group didn't even understand what the Barbecue Dragon does. They're going to have to work on their marketing before they can even dream of being on store shelves.
So we're going to go ahead and bring in a local guy, Dan DeLane. This guy knows his barbecue.
You can see we've already kind of torn this apart, so if you want to see the components, they're right here.
I own a restaurant in Williamsburg, Brooklyn called Brisket Town. I am an expert on barbecue. I cooked tens of thousands of pounds of meat in my life. I think that the biggest issue here is one of education. I could even say that this could go against lighter fluid. This is a lighter fluid alternative.
Does that affect taste?
I think it does.
Does
I think
it really?
It tremendously affects taste.
Okay.
With like cancer and concerns of carcinogens on the rise, like I would rather use
I actually
fan.
like that.
Right now, most people are gonna squirt lighter fluid all over their food, which produces a bad, acrid taste. Cooking with clean oxygen is a really great way to build a fire, and I think that this device can get you there, but I don't think that most people realize that.
Dude, I'm really excited about the ideas we came up with. Dan was focusing on something we didn't expect. Health. Now with two great selling points, high speed to hot coals and healthy grilling, Barbecue Dragon's market could blow up.
All right, so if you were paying close attention there, you should be able to answer these questions. What is a focus group? And Mr. C might have even given you the answer already, right? What was the importance in bringing in an expert? All right, remember the expert was the guy that owned his own barbecue joint, okay? Why was that important? And then finally, how will the new marketing ideas help promote use of the product? All right, there you go. All right, next item up for bid. We have, let me see if I can get to it. Move over, you. All righty, we have a video series. It says Tumblewalla, the Color Dash, and more. In fact, there are 4 different businesses that they're going to bring up here, right? Now, understand who these people are. It's going to first start talking about Tumblewalla. Tumblewalla is a business that promotes child development through parental play, all right? In other words, encouraging imagination through play and giving moms and dads and parents tips and tricks on using play to help, promote student growth or the learning growth of the child, right? So you're going to find out about Tumblewalla. You're also going to hear about the Color Dash, all right? And how that's can be used as a fundraiser for various charities and events and what have you. You'll also hear stories about a person owning a baking business. She's a baker, and she'll say something important, so you want to be paying attention to that. And of course, there's a film director who not only does film capturing for a service, like at weddings and such, but he also creates films of his own and directs them, etc., right? So you're going to find out some really, really key points in here. So I want you to pay close attention to this video segment and see if we can answer the questions here at the end.
Doing a lot of research about the importance of play and how play is so critical to kids' learning. We sort of undervalue it now. We don't realize how play really is important for imagination and creativity and sort of stretching kids' boundaries. I think it's really important to get that message out. Play is a child's way to learn. So I started speaking at moms groups about why play is important and how to get more playtime in your day with babies or toddlers. Then I started blogging about it, and it's just sort of evolved from there.
After our first season, our first real season, we realized that there's a lot of need in the world. And so we couldn't go back in the same communities and do the same run with different charities. So we decided to launch 2 different brands. So we have the Color Dash as our main staple brand, and then we do a fun bubble 5K. So we have these huge foam machines that we dye the bubbles so they come out green, blue, pink, and people just run through these, feet of bubble. Then we added the nighttime run as well. So we have black lights, we have UV powder or UV water. So the black light hits it, it reacts, it glows in the dark basically. And so we launched these 2 other brands, the UV Splash by Color Dash and the Bubble Bash by Color Dash.
With the marketing, I track what is bringing in. I ask people where they heard from me, how they found me. Food, a lot of it is word of mouth. If you have a good product, it's going to spread. I do social media, I do radio ad, newspaper, and so kind of a magazine is based on more of a bridal magazine.
With social media and the tools out there, technology is your friend. You can be more efficient, you can get more done. There's so many great apps and tools and programs you can use.
Really how I've noticed that advertising works is it's all word of mouth, and someone getting married knows another person getting married, who knows another person getting married, and it's gone from a couple friends to now I'll get flown out to other parts of the country, sometimes other countries actually all together, to shoot these weddings. And that's really where I learned and realized that as long as I'm behind the camera, that's where I'm happy. The same kind of feeling happens when you finish a piece too.
That's not how Mom did it.
I know, but it's the way I do it.
And not just finish a film, but finish a film that you think you produced well. And that was rewarding in itself. But I think ultimately what was most satisfying and rewarding was knowing the impact that the film made.
All right, so after watching that video segment, at least should be able to answer these questions. Why was research so important to the company Tumblewalla? All right, remember that's the childhood development and learning through play, right? Research is, I think, is going to be very important there. So tell me why that's important. Just don't tell me very, all right? What does research help these people do? What kind of impacts does it make? That sort of thing. Now, the person with the baking business, the baker, stated she tracked the results of her media advertising. Why is that important to a business? Why do you got to track the information? Why is it important to know what works? Okay? All right. And then another business used word of mouth advertising to generate new business. How important is reputation and quality of work and quality of the product for this type of advertising? Now, don't just tell me very, tell me why. All right, the why is important. All right. All right, last video segment we're going to watch here. Let's see if I can get it to it. Here it comes. Yes, the Dollar Shave Club. Now, understand here that the Dollar Shave Club uses a lot of humor in their advertising, okay? And now, what kind of humor is it going to be if you're dealing with a product that caters directly to dudes, all right? Well, it's going to be dude humor, all right? So understand that a lot of the humor in here is of the dude nature, all right? It's going to be PG-13. So if you're not comfortable with watching something that's not, if you're not comfortable watching a PG-13 movie, you can go ahead and stop this segment and message Mr. C, let him know, and say, hey, I don't feel comfortable watching that, and that's fine, okay? You're good to go, right? But for those that are comfortable watching with it, I like to present this information to you. Now, the Dollar Shave Club, what they do is they charge a monthly fee for their services, and then for certain fees you get various products, all right? And they started off with razors, and they have since grown from there, all right? So let's go ahead and watch this segment and see if we can figure out some of the things going on with Dollar Shave Club.
Presented by T-Mobile.
I'm Michael Dubin. I am the founder and CEO of DollarShaveClub.com. If you go to the store to buy razors, you have to drive your car to fight traffic. Then you have to find the razor fortress, which is always locked. You have to find the guy with the key. You get to the register and it costs you $20 or more, and the whole thing's kind of primitive. I just figured there was a better way to do it, so Dollar Shave Club was born. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. At its most basic, Dollar Shave Club, for a couple bucks a month, we send high quality razors right to your door. 80% of our guys shave 3 days a week or more. For our member, this is a product that they need regularly, and that's why the subscription model really works. And I don't love that term. I actually really like the term membership instead, because it implies a deeper relationship and a greater warmth. The promise is expanding to include Dr. Carver's Easy Shave Butter, which is the best thing you can put on your face before you shave. And then we have One Wipe Charlie's, which is a butt wipe for men.
Why do you need a butt wipe? Because you're not an animal. And whatever you're using now is primitive.
It's a cleaner way to do it. It's a faster way to do it. You know, as we like to say, great things happen when your ass smells fantastic.
So clean up your act with the softest, fastest, manliest way to wipe your ass. Except no substitute. It's One Wipe Charlie!
I spent most of my career in marketing, digital media, brand development. I studied improv and sketch comedy for about 8 years when I was living in New York City, and I think that absolutely infused the tone of voice of this brand. It's very transparent, it's very honest, it's funny, and guys appreciate humor, I think.
We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay.
Before we launched the video, we were just doing some small proof of concept stuff. We got about 1,000 members really doing no marketing, and when we launched the video on March 6, 2012, I mean, literally within the span of 30 minutes, we started getting tens of thousands of orders for a company that had been fulfilling 2 or 3 orders a day in its beta phase. It crashed our servers when we just weren't ready for that. We had to learn very quickly how to meet this scale, and we knew we would only get one shot at it. I mean, we had all sorts of homegrown solutions like sticking Post-it notes on huge rolls of labels so that we knew that those labels actually got put on packages and went out. We didn't have a logistics expert on our team at that point. You have to figure it out on your own. I think good companies that last are really good at figuring out on the fly how to fix problems and deal with the unexpected. Raising capital is required for any business that wants to scale quickly. It's not necessarily right for every business, but for our business it was required. You want to try to find investors that can help you in some way beyond just writing you a check. And the types of investors that we sought out were folks with big operational networks to help bring talent to us. Also that had seen a lot in the e-commerce space, and that could help us maybe avoid some pitfalls they had seen others fall into. There's always going to be people that tell you your idea isn't good, or that tell you a million reasons why it's going to fail. And the most successful entrepreneurs, Jeff Bezos and Howard Schultz or Richard Branson, these guys were all told that they were crazy at some point by someone too. But ultimately, you will get somebody that does believe in your idea, that does believe in you, and yeah, that's incredibly rewarding. And then very quickly, you pat yourself on the back. You get about 15 minutes to enjoy the moment, and then you have to move on and figure out how I'm gonna build this business and do everything I just told these guys I'm gonna do.
So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're gonna stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
All right, so here we go. We got 2 slides worth of questions here we should be able to answer. After watching the Dollar Shave Club video, here we go. As presented in the video, what are some key benefits that encourage new consumers to switch from their existing brands and start ordering through the Dollar Shave Club? In other words, why would people want to switch doing what they want to do, doing what they're doing, and do business with the Dollar Shave Club? And I think if you're paying attention to the beginning of the segment, you can figure it out, okay? The founder said his background was in which field? How important do you think marketing and promoting experience is in becoming a successful entrepreneur? Don't just tell me very, tell me why, all right? Or not at all, tell me why. There you go, okay? As discussed in the video, many of the decisions on the firm's growth phase were made on a fairly quick and as-needed basis. The term is ad hoc, okay? A-D-H-O-C, ad hoc. All right? Do you think this is a common approach, or should the firm have been more structured and organized when it came to their strategic planning? Did you notice how he said that things were being shipped out and using sticky notes and all that kind of good stuff? And they brought in somebody and made the system a lot better and a lot more efficient, all right? What do you think? Do you think it should have been efficient, or should have been efficient from the get-go? Or do you think they should have planned? Or do you think, hey, that's normal business, let's just react and go from there? All right, what's your thoughts? All right, next one. Next slide asks us, if I can get the click over. All right, what is the membership or club model, and how does it work to capture value and retain customers? All right, think about what that means. What does it mean to be a part of a club? What does it mean to have a membership or a subscription to something? All right, that might help you out. How important was the first viral video for the successful growth of the business? Did you notice that when before the video came out, they didn't have a whole lot of orders, and then all of a sudden, boom, things started really exploding, right? Well, how important was that? Okay, don't just tell me very, tell me why, all right? If the founder did not have a stand-up or acting background, do you think the video would have become viral? Tell me what you think, all right? And to what extent can viral videos be successfully developed for virtually any industry or product? Be careful on how you answer this one, right? Be careful and think thoroughly, all right? All righty, y'all. So that brings me to the end of this fun video series. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And there you go. Make sure that if you're in Mr. C's class, that you've taken care of those questions and the answers as assigned on Google Classroom. And that brings us to the end of this recording, and of course to the end of our series on marketing.